What is up, guys? Welcome back to Crunch Time. It's your boy, Jack Barber, joined by Yusuf a lot tonight. Yusuf,
How's it going, guys? Welcome to be aboard again.
good to see you, buddy. All right, so a lot of things going on in the NFL. Draft just wrapped up last week. Lots of other stuff going on. Lots of like post-draft trades going on. Teddy Bridgewater, all these other things. But the big topic of discussion, it's not really the whole post-draft, switch of power, so to say, with all these quarterbacks and wide receivers getting drafted. The big topic in the NFL right now, the 37-year-old 2020 NFL season MVP Aaron Rodgers has been in the news for about 2, maybe 3 weeks now. Wants out of Green Bay. We touched on this a little bit in our first round draft episode, or our episode where we covered the first round of the draft. We talked on this a little bit. Things got heated, especially between Lance and Matt in that segment. There's a lot of things going on. Yusuf, I want to get your comments on how the Packers have been handling, or maybe even mishandling, the situation with, Rodgers likening his general manager to Jerry Krause, saying all these crude things about him, severing ties in a working relationship. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Honestly, I'm just gonna keep it light and sweet. To be fairly honest with you, how Green Bay is going about everything, they're just feeling like, oh, this is just Aaron just getting all his anger out. He'll be good by next season. But I think Aaron's kind of like proving a point. Like you're wasting his prime. Like he wants out. Like you're not giving him the help that he needs. He's seeing all these other quarterbacks get what they need. Prime example, Tom Brady, but we'll get into that later. And honestly, he just had enough. Like he's sick and tired of being second fiddle in every conference. I believe it was 3 out of the 4 times they went to the NFC Championship and lost, and they were all favored. Like at that point, I would just be fed up as well. Like he's even contemplating retirement, contemplating potentially just sitting out for the entire year. But a lot of people are saying that he might stay, but I don't know. With all the things that are going on, it's kind of seemed like he just wants out of there and as soon as possible.
Well, I agree with you. It was an Aaron Rodgers special episode. I'm wearing the jersey. Like, we got to wear the jersey. I'm wearing it almost ironically though, because I'm not a huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, obviously I was at a time. I own this thing. I'm not a huge hater of Aaron Rodgers. I've always kind of been indifferent with him. My dad's always been a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, mostly just his cadence because it's pretty funny. But overall, I gotta say, you know what? From an Aaron Rodgers perspective, I was a little upset earlier in the week um, with how he handled the situation. Aaron did. I kind of blamed him rather than blaming Packers management. Drafting Jordan Love in 2020. I didn't think that looking to the future was really a bad thing for them, and I'm not mad at them about that. The 2021 draft shows that they are taking this situation with him. It just seems like they don't really care. I think that they don't, like, they're kind of like, this general manager. I think he planned the 2021 draft out the way that he did, out of spite. He basically didn't help Rodgers out in any way on the offense. No impactful offensive weapons. It's going to be another Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones year. And of course, they'll be competitive. They always have been with that lineup. But you know, at the end of the day, they're not winning Lombardi trophies. I think that if the management was a little better, and if they built around him better than they have in recent years, it all started in, like, 2014, 2015. Like, this guy had Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, all these good pieces. Even like James Jones is like a third wide receiver option. They haven't built a team like that around him in about 5 years now. So I think it's time to step. I think it's either time to put up or shut up. Either keep the man, drop him. You got to do something. But I think a decision needs to be made within the next 2 weeks as to what you're going to do with Aaron Rodgers.
Now chew on to that. Now there's been like potential trade rumors of potential landing spots where he has to go. some that I heard that are like pretty much common sense, and the other ones that are kind of just outlandish. I wanted to get your take on that. Like, where's your top four? I should put it that way.
Well, I didn't really have a top four before tonight. And then, we were talking about this a little bit ago. I was looking it up. The Miami Dolphins didn't seem like a bad move. I think that, obviously Miami's a great market. I think Aaron would love to go there, nice weather. Man's 37. The older you get, the less you like the cold. So I think it would make sense for him personally.
That
But not only that, I mean, they have a nice young core coming up. They just got Jalen Waddle in the draft. Um, they've been working around building their offense, and they've already had a pretty solid defense. Nice young coach and Brian Flores down there, coming into his third season, really helping turn this team around. I think Miami could really be a contender for years to come. And yeah, that would mean that Tua's got to sit maybe a couple of years. But you know what? Aaron sat. Aaron did his time, and look how it molded him. With all the statistics that we see out of him, over 400 touchdowns, still under 100 interceptions, which is just phenomenal. I think as it stands, the second best quarterback rating of all time behind Patrick Mahomes. And I mean, yeah, so I think Miami would be a good fit. It would be a good learning experience for Tua. I think everybody would benefit from that.
now
Um,
now adding on to that Miami Dolphins, I did find like a potential trade for that, but Toa's not going to be sitting under Rodgers. They actually have him in a three-way trade where it's the Packers getting the first round pick from San Francisco 2022, the first round pick better of the both between Miami and San Francisco 2023, the fifth round pick in 2023 from the Dolphins, and the first round pick coming from 2022 coming from Pittsburgh, which is sending Tua all the way to the Steelers, and the Dolphins getting Aaron Rodgers in the fourth round pick from the Packers. So,
well,
what's your take on that?
well, I saw that too, and I mean, it's not at this point. Like we're doing this from an Aaron Rodgers perspective. It's not really about what's best for Tua. I think it. I mean, because I think it's like a best case scenario for Tua either way. Either he gets to learn under Aaron Rodgers, or like I've been saying for weeks now. I love the way that Mike Tomlin runs that team up in Pittsburgh. He's been head coach for almost 15 years. For a reason now. Even last year when Roethlisberger was out with that elbow. I've said this multiple times, and then Mason Rudolph had to step in, and then he got hurt, and then that third string guy whose name I don't remember, but I remember he played pretty good for the time that he was in. I mean, Mike Tomlin just knows how to build up consistent quarterbacks, and I mean, Big Ben's getting up there in age too. I think Roethlisberger will be out of the. I think this might be Ben Roethlisberger's last year in the NFL, and if not, maybe another year. I don't see him going more than 2 years with all the injuries he's accrued and all the criticisms and the speculations. At the very least, he's not going to be in Pittsburgh. Um, so, I mean, I think I think there's other guys you can trade for besides Tua in an Aaron Rodgers situation. But I mean, if that's what management thinks is best, then who am I to question it? This is more about Aaron Rodgers' personal feelings than it is about, or at least that's what we're talking about rather than what's best for the Miami Dolphins. So,
Now, I know like they're trying to keep away from the NFC because of course they don't want to play Aaron when it comes to the playoffs. But a little other trade that I found out to be pretty interesting and I kind of want to happen, but even though it's not, he's going to probably go to the AFC if he gets traded. I'm hearing the New York Giants, Jack. I don't know if you heard about that trade, but the New York Giants would potentially trade Darius Slayton, their first round pick in 2022, their first round pick from Chicago in 2022, and their 2023 first round pick conditional for Aaron Rodgers. What do you have to say about that?
oh boy, um,
He's going to a very young team. I mean,
it,
could, could be another potential Eli Manning situation. What do you think?
no, no, I don't think that's a good move at all. Listen, the Giants aren't desperate right now, and it sounds like a move that Dave Gettleman might make. Dave Gettleman's always been known as a very sporadic, inconsistent general manager. I like the moves that he's made recently. I mean, he's the reason that Saquon's in New York. Great. I'll say this: for as mad as I was about the Eagles pick, I thought he made a great counter move by trading down to the 20th pick, getting Kadarius Toney, getting that first round pick next year. But I don't want to throw it all away on, let's be honest, a 37-year-old man who, as good of a season as he had last year, there's maybe a 3-year window for him to lead the Giants to a Lombardi trophy, get him to the Super Bowl. And I mean, I think they'd have a good shot. I think he would obviously love to have the receiving core that the Giants have built up over the past couple of years, especially in this draft. Kenny Galladay is there now. Kadarius Toney is going to be a good slot option, at least in the first year. Sterling Shepard's always been reliable. Darius Slayton's always been a good deep threat. There's a lot of potential in this Giants receiving core, and I think that would draw Aaron Rodgers there. The problem is, and it was a point that you just made, I don't think that the Packers are going to be willing to trade Rodgers to any team in the AFC, let alone the Giants, who they seem to play a little bit more than other teams in the NFC, if I'm being honest. So, like, at least as like the schedule shows, the last time they played them was 2019, then 2017. They seem to play the Giants every other year. So I don't think it would be in the Packers' best interest to trade into the Giants. I personally don't want it to happen. I like Daniel Jones. I don't think he's going to leave a legacy that's as great as Rodgers was, but I think that Jones could be developed into more of a system quarterback. He's got a couple dynamics. I see a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in him, not the whole package, but I see a little bit of, as far as the wheels go, he can run when he needs to. So overall, keep Daniel Jones in New York. Don't get Rodgers over here. I mean, I'd like that 2-3 year window. It'd probably be a fun 2 to 3 years, but I'm thinking about the next 15. So I don't like that idea.
Well, at least you're not trading away your future quarterback in Daniel Jones. So he could learn under Aaron Rodgers a thing or two, which could help him. But speaking of your rivals in the division, there was also that Washington football team trade scenario where I heard it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, Matt Ioannidis. Hopefully I'm not botching his last name. He's a defensive tackle. So you also got 2 first-round picks and then another 2 second-round draft picks, all from Washington to get Aaron Rodgers. Now, would you see yourself going against him for another 3 or 4 years? Because Washington, all they need is that quarterback, and maybe Aaron could be that one to take them to the next level.
I wouldn't want to play him twice in a season. The only thing that I could say that would really benefit the Giants in a scenario like that, the Packers the Packers and the football team, I think they have a very similar how can I put this? A very similar offensive alignment. And by that I mean they have, Terry McLaurin, great wide receiver, not nearly at the level as Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is probably the top receiver in the NFL right now, but it's kind of the similar situation. They have one good wide receiver, and then the rest of them are just no names. And honestly, the wide receiving core for the Packers is better with Vontae Scantling and all these other backup guys who are pretty solid. And they have a good running back, and Antonio Gibson just came off of a great rookie year. So I just don't think it would be in Rodgers' best interest to go to the football team. And it seems that Rodgers is kind of taking the wheel on these trade scenarios right now. So I think it's really going to be more up to him than it is to Packers management where he goes, because he seems to be kind of a detriment to the locker room and to, the Packers organization at this point, threatening not to play and retiring and sitting out a year, doing all these things.
And then going to Jeopardy.
Yeah, going to Jeopardy, which, I mean, I didn't even see the episode he was on. I guess it was funny. I don't know. I heard things about it. I don't watch Jeopardy. But overall, I mean, it would obviously be in the best interest of the football team, but not for Aaron Rodgers.
Now, speaking of realistic trades coming in from the AFC side for the conference, you have the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders. Let's start with the Oakland Raiders. What do you see for potential trade scenarios with over there?
Well, Derek Carr is going to have to go. There is no reason that they would need Derek Carr to stay there if Aaron Rodgers were to get traded to the Raiders. I think it's a ridiculous scenario. I know Aaron Rodgers is very special as far as being dynamic. He's a great pocket passer. He does amazing things out of the pocket. The off-body throws, I still can't believe that he does that. the way that he corkscrews himself, throws it on the sideline. It's amazing. But I feel like a lot of people in Oakland, or I'm sorry, Las Vegas rather, they want to blame Derek Carr for the problems that they've had over the past 6 or 7 seasons, and that's just not the case. The offensive line, oh my God, he left. The offensive line has always been the big problem in Oakland. Poor management, poor ownership, really, from the Davis family. After Al died, I mean, there weren't really too many good years for the Raiders, even when Al was still in his final years there. But his son's been doing a horrible job managing the team. I like John Gruden coming back. I like Derek Carr. They completely mishandled Amari Cooper. I think that if Rodgers really thinks about it and really looks at the way that this team has mishandled talent over the past 10 or 15 years, I just don't see the Raiders as being a prime spot for him, because I know Rodgers wants another Super Bowl. And I keep calling them Oakland. I wish they were still in Oakland.
Yeah.
I don't like the city of Las Vegas as far as a football team, but
Hey man, it's perfect revenue over there in Las Vegas.
it's a good revenue, but I mean, like Las Vegas, like there's no home field advantage there. It's a gambling city. It's places that people visit every like 10th birthday after they turn 30. You know what I mean?
Hey man,
Like
it's a very smart business move over there with the GM and owner.
yeah, it's all
But
about the business, I guess. I mean, Oakland Coliseum was in shambles for a long time. I've heard stories about it. I've had uncles who have gone there, and it's just a mess over there. But
hey,
anyway,
anyway,
Las Vegas Raiders, sorry, would not be in the best interest of Aaron Rodgers. So I just don't see a lot of value there.
all right. Now, how about the Denver Broncos? Now, I know the Denver Broncos all had potential greatness of quarterbacks. Example, Peyton Manning getting them the Super Bowl. I believe it's the 50th anniversary of the Super Bowl
Super
that he
Bowl
wound up
50.
winning. So he wound up getting them there. Like, do you believe good trade package that I got right here is their draftee Patrick Sutton the second, Tim Patrick, Drew Lock with a first round pick in 2022 and a first round pick in 2023 for Aaron Rodgers and Eric Stokes. Any comments on that, or you feel like that would be the best move for him?
I think out of all the ones that we just talked about, it's kind of a tie for two of them. I think actually no, not a tie. I think the Dolphins would still be the best scenario. But the Denver Broncos would also be a good option for him. I didn't like the Giants and Raiders scenarios, but the Denver Broncos, I wouldn't entirely dislike it. I think that they have, it's a young team. They've got Melvin Gordon, who I still think has a few good years left in him, a few years left in the tank. I think he kind of had a down year last year, but he can bounce back and kind of make it better for himself this season. Jerry Jeudy was phenomenal last year, even behind poor performances by Drew Lock. And I know I've always been behind Drew Lock, and I still think that he deserves another year. But you know what? I just see him as kind of mid-tier, and I think that the way that it would have to be run is they would have to build around him, and that's what I wanted the Broncos to do. But now we're talking about Rodgers potentially, going there. If the Broncos want to win now, if the Broncos want to win within the next 3 to 4 years, because the way that they're planning their years out, I don't think the Broncos have a Super Bowl in their mind within the next 3 to 4 years, unless they draft somebody amazing and game changing, which I don't see happening. So, best option for them, best option for Aaron Rodgers, I think, besides the Miami Dolphins, would be to go to the Denver Broncos if he wants one more Super Bowl before he calls it quits.
Now, honestly, let's be honest. He wants to go to and basically any team West Coast. So basically any team in California or any team. Well, really, the Green Bay Packers want him to go to the AFC. Like I said before, they really don't want to see this man on a revenge suite and just killing them in the playoffs if they ever got to meet. But this comes to the question. I know I've been seeing this on Twitter, on Instagram a lot of times, but the Brady versus Rodgers debate. Now, I wanted to get your take on it. Now, it seems like how taken about it is basically kind of like he wants everything that Brady wants. Now, going back to the NFC Championship game, I remember saying this in the last podcast. He looked on the other team, see what Tom had. He's like, oh, he has Gronk back. Oh, that's whatever. Oh, wait a minute, he got Antonio Brown. Wait a minute, he got Leonard Fournette. Like, what's going on here? Like, he's seeing that Brady's getting everything that he wants, and Rodgers basically got to sit pretty. All he has is the Devontae Adams. I mean, don't get me wrong, the youth on Green Bay is also doing well, but they're not doing, I should say, like, poetic justice. They're not helping him get to where he really needs to go to. At least not yet. Any comments on that, Jack?
All right. There is two ways we could look at who is the GOAT. Now, if we're talking about rings, if we're talking about overall, the guy who is going to get you to a Super Bowl and win it and is clutch. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers isn't clutch. He's very close to Tom Brady's level of clutch. But Tom Brady, we will never see, I think, a player in any sport. I think the best comparison that we can make as far as a professional athlete, at least in America, to Tom Brady is Bill Russell, as far as the dominance that he's had over the sport that he's played. 7 rings, 6 of them with one team. He is single-handedly made the Patriots one of the most valuable franchises in all of sports. I think Forbes just released their list last week, and the Patriots were either in the top 5 or the top 10. But back in 2000, 2001, I don't think Robert Kraft was sitting that pretty, and I think that we both know that. And the reason, and you just touched on it, the reason that Aaron Rodgers is getting all these guys, is getting Gronk, getting what was the running back's name? Leonard Fournette. The reason he's getting all these guys to come with him to Tampa Bay is because he's earned it. With all the rings that he's gotten, look, Aaron Rodgers is a great player. Aaron Rodgers, this is the other side of the coin. He's a better athlete than Tom Brady. I think he's a better passer than Tom Brady, and he's more dynamic, better performances. He's a guy. He's got a better touchdown ratio. He's got a better touchdown interception ratio, which is saying a lot since we're talking about Tom Brady. He's got a better passer rating. He's got a better quarterback rating, I believe. I got to check up on those stats. I think their value is equal, but in different ways. But the fact that Tom Brady has shown this much longevity, just like athletes in general are not supposed to play into their mid-40s. It just doesn't happen unless you're a NASCAR driver, which doesn't really count. So it's just amazing to me that this guy has done the things that he's done for the longevity that he's done it. And I like Aaron Rodgers, but his style of play is too dangerous. I don't see him playing into his mid-40s, not even close. I see him maybe making it to 40 or 41 at best and calling it a career after that. So as far as the GOAT goes, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's nickname is the GOAT. We talk about who the GOAT is. It's an insult to call anybody besides Tom Brady the GOAT at this point. There's those secondary guys. You got your Drew Breeses, your Peyton Mannings, your Aaron Rodgers. But Tom Brady is on a pedestal all by himself. By the end of his career, he's going to own every passing record, every passing touchdown record, every major record that a quarterback should strive to hold. Tom Brady is going to have it by the end of his career. Now, do I think Patrick Mahomes maybe has a shot at breaking all those records, getting all those rings? Maybe, but at the current moment in time, it's Tom Brady. So Tom Brady's the GOAT, no question. Sorry, Aaron. It's just the way it is.
Now, what? Now, what? Like, why say that, Jack? Like, all I gotta ask is, like, win wise, like, Aaron. Well, Tom Brady is the go-to guy, but also with Aaron Rodgers, like, he has the stats to prove it. Like, he's more of the better athlete, I believe. Looking at multiple polls, like, a lot of people prefer to have Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Now, is that just due to the fact of just like the pure talent that Aaron Rodgers has, or is that just due to the fact that a lot of people don't trust Tom Brady?
Absolutely, it's pure talent based, I think. Look, I'm not going to say Aaron Rodgers isn't more talented than Tom Brady because he is. He's a better, like I said, he's a better athlete. Always has been. Will be known as one by the time he retires. He's a bad man. He's a bad man, but he's more mobile. He's got. I think he's got the better arm accuracy and all these things. I think Tom Brady is just a smarter player, and that's obviously been his whole thing throughout his career. Before the beginning of this season, I would have said that I would have wanted Aaron Rodgers on a team over Tom Brady if I was leading a franchise at the current moment, not all time, but at the current moment, because I thought before the 2020 season that the reason for Tom Brady's success was Bill Belichick, and my base for those thoughts was that back in 2016 when Tom Brady finally got in trouble over Deflategate, sat out those first, I think it was 4 to 6 games, and Garoppolo and Jacoby Brissett came in to fill the cracks for him. They both did a good job. I think that the Patriots started out 3-1 that year. Garoppolo looked great. Jacoby Brissett looked okay. He didn't look great. He looked okay. But all in all, I was thinking about ever since then, from 2016 until 2020, I thought that it had more to do with Bill Belichick and his coaching than it did Tom Brady. Now, maybe it did because, over 20 years, even if you go to another team, you're going to retain what the other guy taught you. I thought that the Buccaneers were going to be a bust. I thought they were going to maybe be a 10-win team, which isn't really a bust per se, but I thought that Tom Brady was going to get ousted in the first or second round. He proved me wrong. So good for you, Tom.
Especially at 43 years of age.
At 43 years of age, he just continues to defy the haters, and he's been doing it for his entire career, ever since his combine, where he looked like a scrawny twig-looking, piece of garbage that maybe should have gone on, that would have gone undrafted. I would have like if I was a GM and I saw that man's picture, I would have been laughing all the way home. But now he's the one with the hot wife, sitting pretty, and I'm just a middle class kid in Hackettstown. I got a lot of good things, but I'm not Tom Brady.
Hey, at age 43, and he picked a random team. Like, he didn't have to go to Tampa. He could have went to any other team that was stacked, maybe potentially been a second string or maybe like first string if the player got hurt, and would have won it that way. But he defied the odds with a 7-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, which a lot of people don't understand. Like, Tampa Bay, they were good, but they weren't that great. Like, all they had was James Winston. And of course, a lot of people laugh with his TD ratio compared to his interception ratio. I believe it was like 40-40 or 30-30.
It was like, I think it was like 33-30, if not 30-30. But you got to think about it though. Before Brady even got there, they had Mike Evans. They had Antoine Goodwin. No, that's not who they had. Goodwin, whatever that guy's name is, number 14 on there. Marquise Goodwin. No, he played for the Niners. I'm thinking of somebody else, but I know he's like their wide receiver too. He's really good. Godwin. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. Had Godwin, and then you had on Antonio Brown. You get Gronk back before the season, which I thought was going to be a waste. Gronkowski amazed the hell out of me because I remember his last season, and I think it was 2018 or 2019. Mans did horrible. Mans did a horrible job. Got one touchdown all season in the first game of the year, and just choked the rest of the way when he wasn't hurt. So, I think that all the stars really aligned for Tom Brady this season. I think that they might have gotten lucky. I think they had a game plan ready for Patrick Mahomes. They had the advantage of playing him during the regular season last year. But we're talking about who the GOAT is. It's Tom Brady. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers, great, talented athlete, maybe the GOAT of athleticism and maybe the GOAT of just like pure quarterback play. But as far as success, nobody beats Tom Brady.
Now, I know if our boy Lance was on here, he would be tearing us a new butthole. Like, he was ready to explain everything. But
you can't argue with the facts. Tom Brady's just a more successful man.
Now, is this now? This is the last question with it. Now, do you believe like it's because Tom Brady is going to do whatever it takes to win? Like, I know he sacrificed a lot when it came to his contracts. I heard took a lot of pay cuts to get the team over the edge. He's like, hey, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Just get the guys to make us successful, make us a dynasty. And we might be seeing that again with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like they brought all 22 starters back. That's crazy. Like that's unheard of. Like a lot of them would have just went and got supermax deals somewhere else.
First time in league history, I think, too.
Yes, and honestly, like is that due to the culture compared to where Aaron is? Like, yeah, he'll win the MVPs. He'll get the season pass, TD passing records. He'll get you to the NFC Championship. Like, I guess the question for you, Jack, is does Aaron have that winning mentality compared to Tom Brady? Like, is it there, or is he just there for himself?
I have always thought, and I'm going to take this jersey off right now because I said I was wearing it ironically. I'm not a hater of Aaron Rodgers. I don't love Aaron Rodgers, but I'll tell you one thing I do not like about Aaron Rodgers, and maybe Lance can agree with me on this. Maybe he can't. Maybe he's blinded by his own fanism. But here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers is selfish. Aaron Rodgers has been called out by multiple teammates over the past couple of years. Jermichael Finley said something a number of years ago. This guy only cares about his own image. He's self-absorbed. He's showing it right now. He's whining about the GM and all these other things. And look, I'm not really entirely mad about it. Okay, I get it. These guys have been on the doorstep to greatness so many times in the 2010s, and they just haven't been able to repeat the success that they had in 2010. A lot of it has to do with a wide receiver room that they have just refused to address over the past 5 years. They only just got a good running back in Aaron Jones, and I think that they got lucky in picking him up. I never really liked Eddie Lacy or Ryan Grant or any of the other guys that Rodgers has played with in his career. But at the end of the day, I don't think he has a winning mentality as far as his teammates. This guy is not a collectivist. This guy thinks about himself first. There's no question about that. And you know what you were talking about, Brady with the pay cuts. It doesn't help. It doesn't hurt that his wife is making the big bucks in the family. Okay,
That's
she's a
true.
model. She's
That's
making
true.
multiples of what he makes. He can take as many pay cuts as he wants. He could play in the NFL for free and be set for life, as long as he didn't sign a prenup when they got married. So, I mean, overall, Rodgers is, I think, in it for himself, but I think that this guy needs to wake up. And I think that this is the first step in him waking up. He needs to go to a team where he is not the be all end all, because I think that one thing that has aided to his delusion that he is the Green Bay Packers is because he kind of has been the Green Bay Packers. They've had good wide receivers come and go, but he has always been the superstar. He has been marketed as the Green Bay Packers, such as Brady was when he was in New England. But Brady, I don't know what it is, but Brady is more humble overall. I mean, Rodgers was a first-round draft pick. Brady was somewhere like in the fifth or sixth round, drafted 199th overall in the 2000 NFL draft. This guy had to claw his way to the top because when he got a chance, he ran with it. He grabbed the brass ring. Rodgers knew he was going to get a shot the second he came into the league, sitting behind Brett Favre, who did not prove himself to be a very good role model. You can look it up. He was not happy about Aaron Rodgers being there. So I think without a proper mentor being there, like Brady might have had in Drew Bledsoe, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is just a selfish player.
Now, viewers in the comment section below, let us know what you guys think about it. Like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, who you believe is the true GOAT. Now we know this debate is going to go on for years to come, but I like to hear your comments in the comment section below. Now, Jack, the last thing I gotta talk about, is it time for Aaron to go?
Without a shadow of a doubt, it is time for Aaron to go. It's just time's up. Time's up. I don't see any need for him to stay in Green Bay any longer. He's severed too many ties there. He's talked to management about not wanting to be there. He doesn't like the general manager. Now they could fire the general manager, get a new one, and it could be all daisies and lollipops over in Green Bay. But guess what? They're still not going to win a Super Bowl before he calls it quits, because there's just too much work to do over there now. You can't just draft everybody in 1 year. It just doesn't happen that way. They got so many good pieces there, and I think that they could be competitive. They could compete for another NFC championship if they were to play again. They got good coaching in Matt LaFleur, but I just don't see these guys getting over the hump of other teams in the NFC. I think that they could compete. I think they're going to compete with the Bucs again. I think they're, you know what? I'm going to contradict myself. I think they're on the doorstep. I think they're on the doorstep of making it to another Super Bowl. Do I think they can win another Super Bowl? No, I don't. Not with Patrick Mahomes in the AFC. So the best thing for Aaron Rodgers to do, leave Green Bay, get a better mentality as to who you are as a person. Think about the team first. Maybe he can get that in Denver. Maybe he can get that in Miami or Oakland or any AFC team that he ends up going to. Or if he goes to an NFC team, maybe he'll find that somewhere there. But I just think that he and the management in Green Bay have turned that place into it's just been toxic. It's just been a toxic environment over in Green Bay.
Honestly, I gotta agree with you. Like if I was Aaron, I believe I'll just start packing up and trying to go. But how the way he's doing everything, I wouldn't go about it. Like, of course, you gave them their all, and of course, it's a management thing. Like, they're not gonna just give you everything that you want. But honestly, I would have went a different way if I was him. And honestly, this could be an end of a really great Packers dynasty that we might be witnessing. Now he can prove us wrong and be playing next year, and then we'll be in the same cycle as before. Hopefully, he can prove us wrong and potentially get a Super Bowl this year to just shut up all the haters. But if he winds up getting himself destroyed in the NFC again in 2022, it's just a cycle and repeat conversation. Like, is he gonna go? Is he gonna retire? What is he gonna do? Like, if I was him, I would just leave. Honestly.
Now I'm going to say one more thing before we go.
All right, go ahead.
I just need Patrick to be quiet first. I've always been getting interrupted by dogs in the past 2 videos. It's weird. But anyway, you said this might be the end of a Packers dynasty. It was never a dynasty. It was 1 year. 1 year that they made it. To be a dynasty, you have to win multiple championships. That's what I think qualify. That's one of the top qualifiers I think that you have to have. Maybe this will get the comment section sparking. Maybe it won't. I think you could say Eli Manning is more qualified to have led a dynasty in New York than Aaron Rodgers ever was.
Really? That's
Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowl titles. He led a dynasty. That is a dynasty, winning 2 rings or 2 or more rings. Tom Brady won 6. Obviously, it was a dynasty. So Aaron Rodgers 1 ring. It was a great team in 2010, but it's not a dynasty. Lance is going to kill me for saying that. I don't care. Yusuf, it's been a great night. I've enjoyed all the cameos from your family members in the background tonight.
Hey, they'll get the shout outs later on. They'll get it later on.
Of course.
But as always, viewers, it's Jack and Yusuf, and this has been another Crunch Time episode. See you on the next one.
Have a good night, guys.